You know that pesky layer of fluff that seems to appear on your bookshelf out of nowhere? Ever stop to think about where it really comes from? Well, today, we're going to trace its origins. And trust me, it's a journey that spans billions of years and trillions of miles. We're talking about dust, and its story is way more epic than you could ever imagine. Okay, so let's just start with a kind of a mind-bending idea here. What if I told you that the dust you just wiped off your coffee table didn't just, blow in from outside? What if it came from way, way outside? I mean, we're talking about the actual leftovers of a star that went supernova long before our own sun was even a thing. Right. So to really understand the dust that's right here in our world, we have to go back to the very beginning. And I mean the most extreme beginning you can think of. Inside the fiery furnace of an exploding star. Seriously, this is where the story of, well, pretty much everything, including us, really gets going. Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page about what we're talking about here. Cosmic dust. It's not really like the stuff you sweep up off your floor. We're talking about teeny tiny solid particles, sometimes no bigger than just a few molecules. These little guys are forged out there in space, and they are quite literally the building blocks for planets, for stars, for life itself. So for a long, long time, scientists had this theory. It goes like this. When a really massive star reaches the end of its life, it goes out in this spectacular explosion, a supernova, right? But it doesn't just vanish. Nope. It blasts out all the heavy elements it spent its life creating in its core. Things like carbon, oxygen, iron, and it just seeds the entire universe with the raw materials for everything else to get started. And get this. This isn't just some cool theory anymore. It's been confirmed. The James Webb Space Telescope recently took a look at a supernova remnant. That's the expanding cloud of stuff left over after the big boom. And what it found was just, wow. A single explosion created over 5,000 Earth masses worth of dust. I mean, these things are unbelievable dust factories. Now, don't go thinking this is all happening in some distant galaxy millions of light years away. No. This is happening right here, right now. Scientists estimate that literally thousands of tons of this ancient stardust rain down through our atmosphere every single year. It's constantly adding new material to our planet. Okay, so we've got dust coming in from space. Check. But believe it or not, that's just a tiny, tiny fraction of the whole story. The real engine of dust movement, that's our own planet. Earth circulates just mind-boggling amounts of material across entire continents. Just think about this for a second. Every year, huge weather systems pick up somewhere between 60 and 200 million tons of dust from the Sahara Desert and just carry it thousands of miles across the ocean. That completely dwarfs the amount of cosmic dust we get. Our own planet is the real master of moving dust around. Yeah, this whole thing has a name, the Saharan Air Layer, or SAL, and it's basically nature's own massive climate control system. This cloud of dust is so huge, it can actually cool down the Atlantic Ocean just by blocking sunlight. And its super dry air can literally starve a baby hurricane of the moisture it needs to grow. It's a major global climate driver, and it's all powered by dust. All right, so we've journeyed from exploding stars to these massive planetary weather systems. Now, let's bring it all the way back home. I'm talking about the dust bunnies that are probably hiding under your sofa right now. What is that stuff actually made of? So what exactly is in that stuff we're always sweeping up? Well, household dust it's a pretty complex cocktail, actually. A lot of it is what you'd expect. Dead skin flakes and tiny fibers from our clothes, our carpets, our furniture. Then you've got all the stuff that gets tracked in from outside, like pollen and soil. If you've got pets, you can add pet dander to the mix. And yeah, there are even tiny little bits of your house's building materials in there too. All right, let's tackle the biggest myth about household dust, the one everybody's heard. Is it true that it's mostly or even all just dead human skin? Let's find out. The answer, maybe surprisingly, is no. I mean, sure, skin flakes are definitely in there, but they're not the main ingredient. But here's what's even crazier. What comes with our skin? Turns out, each of us is constantly shedding this unique cloud of our own personal microbes. It's a microbial signature so distinct that scientists think one day it could be used like a forensic fingerprint to tell exactly who's been in a room, just based on the dust they left behind. Wild, right? So, okay, we've established that dust is this crazy mix of the cosmos, our planet, and, well, us. It's pretty much inevitable. But that doesn't mean we're just powerless against it. Especially for people with allergies or, anyone who just likes a clean house, managing it is everything. So the big question is, how do we actually win the war on dust? Okay, let's talk about the gold standard in this fight, our #1 weapon against those tiny particles. It's the HEPA filter. Now, you've definitely seen that sticker on vacuums and air purifiers, but it's important to know HEPA isn't a brand name. It's actually a super rigorous official standard for efficiency. So what does that HEPA label actually mean? Well, in the US, to get that certification, a filter has to prove it can remove at least 99.97% of airborne particles that are 0.3 micrometers in diameter. And to give you some perspective, that's about 300 times smaller than the width of a human hair. So yeah, these things are incredibly good at trapping everything from pollen and pet dander all the way down to bacteria. And the way they work is actually pretty genius. It's not just a simple screen. A HEPA filter is this super dense mat of fibers that traps particles in 3 clever ways. The big particles, they just smash right into the fibers. The medium ones, they get snagged as they try to follow the airflow around the fibers. But the tiniest ones are the coolest. They move around so randomly, almost like a pinball machine, that they're guaranteed to eventually crash into a fiber and get stuck. But look, it's not all about high-tech filters. Some really simple habits can make a huge difference. When you're dusting, use microfiber cloths. They actually trap the dust instead of just pushing it into the air. A good doormat at every entrance, that stops a ton of dirt before it even gets inside. Oh, and wash your bedding weekly in hot water. That's a huge one because beds can be a major hotspot for dust mites. And what about the whole robot vacuum versus traditional vacuum debate? Well, here's the thing. It's not really about one being better. They just have different jobs. A robot vacuum is amazing for consistency, that daily maintenance that stops dust from ever building up. But your traditional, powerful vacuum, that's for the deep clean, for getting that really embedded dirt that the robots just can't handle. Honestly, the best strategy? It's having them work as a team. So there you have it. We've traced this absolutely incredible journey. We started with stardust forged in the heart of a supernova. We saw massive clouds of sand circling our entire planet. And we brought it all the way down to the unique microbial fingerprint that you leave in the dust of your own home. So the next time you're cleaning, or maybe you just see a sunbeam lighting up all those little specks floating in the air, what are you gonna see? Just a chore you have to do? Or will you see a tiny, tangible connection to the entire cosmos? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.